Beneath the steel and glass of a modern megacity, almost every structure you see is held together by two things: cement and sand. As populations migrate to cities at breakneck speed, the demand for the built environment has surged. Driven by hyper-urbanization, sand has quietly become the second most consumed natural resource on the planet, trailing only behind water. This data visualization maps global aggregate consumption, and the volume is difficult to comprehend. Human civilization currently extracts an astonishing 50 billion tons of sand every single year. That acceleration is locked in. By 2050, the UN projects that the world's cities will need to absorb an additional 2.5 billion new urban dwellers. We are expanding human civilization on the assumption that our foundational building material is infinite. This creates a massive global reliance on a geological resource that few people would even think of as valuable. At first glance, a global sand shortage sounds absurd. The Earth is covered in massive deserts, like the Sahara, projecting an illusion of limitless supply. But desert sand is useless for construction. Wind erodes grains into smooth, polished spheres that cannot bind in cement. They just slide past each other. Strong concrete requires rough, angular grains that tightly interlock, a shape found almost exclusively in delicate riverbeds and coastlines. We are trapped in a cruel geological irony. Modern engineering is starving for a highly specific shape of rock, while we are surrounded by oceans of unusable desert sand. Our demand for construction-grade sand has pushed the planet past a physical breaking point. We are currently extracting it 3 times faster than nature's replenishment cycle. In countries like India, the legal supply of river sand falls short of economic demand by roughly 300 million tons every year. When an economy demands a physical resource that the Earth cannot legally provide, illicit black markets fill the void. Across unregulated regions, highly organized sand mafias have taken control. Operating under the cover of darkness, they deploy thousands of illicit dredging boats to pull material directly from local waterways. Heavy machinery is used to violently rip apart the natural topography. These excavators carving artificial pathways through the water strip the riverbanks bare and destabilize entire aquatic ecosystems. The permanence of our modern megacities is being built through the destruction of the Earth's most vital natural arteries. The illicit sand trade generates a massive human death toll that is rarely recorded in official mining reports. To protect these lucrative black markets, gangs resort to extreme violence. Across regions like India and Kenya, journalists investigating the operations have been burned alive. Activists are hacked to death, and law enforcement officers are frequently murdered. There is also a hidden layer of collateral damage. When illegal dredgers tear up a riverbed, they leave behind massive underwater mining pits, creating sudden 30-foot drops in waterways that used to be shallow. Local populations are unaware of the changing topography. Children go swimming in the rivers they've played in for years, step off an invisible ledge, and drown in the artificially deep, unstable pits. The cost of our rapidly expanding urban infrastructure can be measured in the lives of those caught in the shadow supply chain. As reserves dry up, nations are taking extreme measures to secure territory. Singapore, for instance, has bought up neighboring countries' coastlines, importing massive volumes of sand to dump into the ocean and physically expand its own borders. Desperate contractors are also turning to inferior material substitutes. They pull sand from coastlines, but marine sand is heavy with chloride, a chemical that corrodes steel rebar and weakens a building's structural integrity. The consequences are lethal. Following the 2023 earthquakes in Turkey and Syria, investigators attributed the catastrophic collapse of apartment blocks in part to the use of illegal coastal sand in their construction. The construction industry is now pivoting to technological workarounds. To bypass river extraction, massive mechanical crushers are deployed to pulverize raw rock and boulders into manufactured sand. But the scale of the problem is difficult to meet. Human civilization pours 30 billion tons of concrete annually, a volume but alternative materials and rock crushing cannot currently replace. We have built a world that demands infinite growth on a strictly finite geological foundation. We attempted to build a permanent world using a temporary resource, and the raw materials are finally running out.